Hello, hello, hello. Let me see. I'm sorry, y'all. I should have did this off of here. But anyway, welcome to Tony Talks. I am Tony Denise Lattimore. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I come on every Monday and we talk about Mental Health Monday because we all need to deal with our mental health, which plays a part in all other areas of our life: physical, emotional, financial. Our mindset is where it starts in our mind. If we deal with our minds, my motto for my business is a healed mind leads to a healed life. So if we deal with things in our mind, that will help us to be able to heal other areas of our life. Hey, 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 the Bailey effect is here. All right, so today we're talking about um, my own personal mental health. I didn't think I was going to do this topic today, but it's so necessary. And I think one thing that's good is to have a therapist who shares their journey. So I'm transparent and a vulnerable person. Uh, thank you. Um, and that is so that other people can grow. Because guess what? What good is it to happen to me and I don't share it with anybody else? So, over the last 3 weeks, I have been going through an actual, like, serious transformation. Like, I really feel like, and I'm not a butterfly. I don't know what a cocoon feels like, but if it feels anything like this, then my God, right? I don't know what a caterpillar really goes through, but I think this is what they go through. This is the feeling. This is all of what they are experiencing. So, major things going on in my life. Sold my home, moved in with my mother in law, and it's a temporary move, but in that, in that space, there are lots of changes, okay? And so, for me, I have to constantly pay attention to my own mental health, especially because that's what I do for a living. So I do regular check-ins with myself, and sometimes I don't have to do a regular check-in because it hitting me in my own face like, hello, I'm here, right? This is here and it needs to be dealt with, right? So the last 3 weeks, like, really just lots of changes and transformations happening in my life. And I'm just here to share a little bit about it and to help you to know it is normal that sometimes when transformation is happening that you feel a little off or you feel different. If I was to look it up in the DSM, it would really be called an adjustment disorder. And so that's what's really going on inside of me is an adjustment disorder. On top of grieving the loss of, I didn't think I would grieve the loss of my home. Like, that sounds kind of crazy to me, but it's not, because having my own space was really big and is big for me. And so there's a combination of things going on with me, from grieving of the loss of my home, not loss in the sense of, let me say this, I'm extremely happy and prayed about selling that home for a long time, almost a year, and then it happened, right? The thing about it is, I didn't know what else was coming after that. And so what came after that is the now. And this is the adjustment place. This is the adjustment piece that I am going through. And so one thing I as a therapist knows, okay, you have to do something. I found myself in isolation. Like, I was starting to isolate. So I asked myself, I said, self, are you are you depressed? And then I reviewed in my mind like what depression was. And I noticed that it's not quite depression. It is really adjusting. Okay. And so that can be tough. It is a legit thing, billable thing that you can bill for an adjustment disorder. And so that's what's happening to me. Now, I did recognize if I don't do what I need to do, that it can go to depression. And who knows? I know what depression feels like. Was depressed from a child, I would say, as I look back as a child, all the way up through my 20s and part of my 30s. Mm-hmm. Didn't want to call it that, but that's what it was. So I know what depression feels like. I know what depression is. And so that's why I questioned myself the other day. So I'm saying this to you all to say that number one, therapists, we are not gods, right? We have our own struggles and issues just like everybody else. But a good therapist would do what she tells you to do. Okay? So today, after talking to my friend Shiante, the Bailey effect, right? I realized I was looking for a coach and still am because I need a business coach, hands down. If you know a good one, put one in, put it down in the comments, and take a moment to like and subscribe and hit the bell. Okay. The other thing is, so business coach, that's one thing. But what comes before my business, having a business coach, is this right here, my mental, because my business is called Get Your Mind Right Therapy Services, right? So I first have to get this right. I first got to make sure this is right because I help other people and I want to make sure that I'm not bleeding onto them. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm taking care of my own personal mental health so that I can be the best therapist to my clients. Okay, so what did I have to do? Okay, as I said, I found myself isolating. And isolation is not good. Just hearing the word isolation, right? That was one thing before when I was depressed that I would do, isolate. And I found myself having negative self talk. And so I was like, hmm, you see what is happening, right? It's time to catch it now. So, what I did, tell you about the type of therapist I am. I believe in the spiritual and natural, in working on the spiritual aspect as well as the natural aspect. So, I'm trained as a therapist to deal with the mindset, right? But I also did a class and I got a certificate in teaching in my church, my old church. And so I do know both perspectives. I know how to help you to work through your own mindset, your own mental health issues, but I also know the spiritual side. So I am the type of therapist who is, I call it a kingdom therapist. I use both the spiritual and then the natural. All right. So to help you to be able to heal in that way, holistically, that's what I call it. So for myself, what I did was I got my journal out. I got my good old journal out. I said, girl, pull your journal out, right? And so I started to, before I sat down, I was thinking of all this stuff like that I just was going to put in my journal so I could get it out of me. In the midst of it, I was praying earlier, and as I was praying earlier, and then I ended up picking up my journal, what dropped in my spirit was, instead of complaining about something, or instead of putting down all this stuff that you're thinking about that is going wrong, what you need to do is come up with a solution. And I am the solution. That's what God told me. I would write in it every day. Yeah, that's what God was saying to me. Why speak on what's happening, right? So there are times when you need to release it, right? And so that's why I need a therapist. I need a kingdom therapist, though. I need somebody who can understand both the spiritual and the natural, and that's hard to find. Anywho, they out there, because if it's one, if I'm one, there are other ones out there. So if you know one of those as well, who is in Illinois, licensed in Illinois, let me know. Drop it in the comments. Um, and so then I prayed first, and then God just started giving me these scriptures. And He gave me three scriptures, and I started to reflect on the scriptures. And now it was real heavy before I was there. I was like angry. I could feel myself like angry. And so once I started to write the scriptures, I could feel the pressure easing up. It's just amazing, y'all. Like, the word is true, and the word is a healer in and of itself. Now, I had a different perspective, and I'm going to read the three scriptures that I had. When I wrote the scriptures that the Holy Spirit gave me, because He just really was just moving through me to get me out of my own stuff, right? To get me out of my own way. Um, where's the scriptures at? So the first scripture was Isaiah 40:31. And he said, but those who wait for the Lord, who expect, look for, and hope in Him, will gain new strength and renew their power. They will lift up their wings and rise up close to the close to God like eagles rising towards the sun. They will run and not become weary. They will walk and not grow tired. That was the first one He gave me. And I started to feel my help coming, right? Like, that's what they say in the church. I started to feel my help coming. But no, seriously, like, I ain't lying to y'all. When I wrote that, that's like, I only had a couple sentences above that. And when He dropped that in me, I felt lighter. And then the next one He gave me was Proverbs 3:5-6. That's a good one, right? Trust in the Lord with all your heart, not with some, with all, right? No matter what I was looking at in the negative way, and it was a lot, right? It was a whole lot of things that I was looking at. He said, trust in me. No matter what, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all, not some, of your ways, submit to me, submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. And it got clearer. I was like, so you focused on all this stuff and what it is at this moment. Really, what it was me fighting against, I'm trying to buck against the system because I wasn't feeling good with this space that I'm in. And so He's like, you're going to make it more difficult. You know, what you're going through, you have to go through it because I'm teaching you something. So you have to go through this because I have something else in store for you. Is it difficult? Yes. And as I was talking to my friend earlier, sometimes we're going to go through things and we want to always look at the positive side. But the positive side, you know, sometimes you have to allow yourself to feel what you feel, right? Feel what you feel, but don't stay there. You still got to keep it moving, right? So, how do I keep it moving in the best possible way? That's what these scriptures help me to be able to move through, are helping me to be able to. And in that moment, they were definitely something that helped benefited me to get out of my head space. That's what we talking about. Mental health Mondays, right? To keep my mental strong. So this is what worked for me. Everybody is different, right? And I can give you some other things that may work for you. But for me, I'm sharing my story. Psalm 27:13-14. I remained confident in this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord. Whew, that one right there. That one just like took me out. Wait for the Lord. Because it's hard to wait. Waiting can be really difficult because we want it right now. It's a put it in the air fryer. It cooks itself, right? It's quick. But God says, wait for me. Be strong, right? So I found myself being weak. I was being weak in the sense of um, pouting, um, isolation, being mad and angry. And it really was my own stuff. Being mad and angry at the situation that I'm in. Yeah, I can't change the situation, nor do I want to change the situation. I am learning to embrace what it is. Because if this is what you have for me, God, I'm going through it, and I'm going through it being strong, and take heart and wait for the Lord. Wait again. He said it twice in that scripture. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. Whew. That part. Don't get ahead of him or give up, right? And so I say this to say that minding your mind, right? Minding your mental health. Another thing that you may have to do to mind your mind is to mind your mind, right? What's going on? What am I feeling? What am I experiencing? Really checking in with yourself, seeing what's going on with yourself. Sometimes just taking a day to just breathe, as me and my friend just talked about, to breathe, to give yourself a break from the heaviness of what right now I am experiencing. Okay. So it's really just while you're transforming, giving yourself that space to rest, giving yourself that space to process, giving yourself that space to understand, even when you don't understand what's going on. Yep. Just letting it go. It's good to just have that place where I don't have to overthink it. I know I'm in God's will. And if you're in his will, that don't mean that it's always going to be easy. Um, but yeah, to really just allow yourself to rest in him. So, journaling, a big thing that helps me. Journaling. And yesterday was an example of how to journal differently. Journal the solution, not always the problem. Now, it's okay to put the problem there, especially like I tell people, when you don't have a therapist, then your journal could kind of be your therapist, to be able to dump it there, right? To be able to put it there. And then maybe you come back later and then you process it. I'd rather you, if you don't have a therapist, to put it down in your journal. How often do I journal? Who? Um, I don't traditional journal. Like, I don't journal as far as like sit down and do it on a daily basis. I wish I could say that I do. I don't. I journal probably um, every day, but it's different. It's like jotting down things that come to my mind, and I put it on the paper. So it's not like I'm sitting down trying to process it. I'm just getting it out. So I would say every day to every 2 days. The good suggestion would be every day, because we have so many thoughts that come through our mind that really a lot of times we don't process, right? And so that's why I get it out and I put it in my book. And sometimes I come back to it, sometimes I don't. But it does help me when I'm able to just put it down in my journal, and just to get it out, because it makes space, it makes room for clearing, it clears out space for new things, right? So I would say journaling every day is it ideal, I think. Yeah, one of those, idea or ideal, I think. Yeah, but oh, what did that say? Let's see. What did you say? Because I see it on the screen. I don't know where the, oh, here it is. Do you have a template or just free write? I free write. I tried a prompting journal, and that didn't work for me because the prompts a lot of times didn't align with where I am. I would say prolific type of thinker. I mean, deeply. And so I found like a lot of those prompt journal books didn't take me where I needed to go. They weren't deep enough for me. And then in the space where I am or was, or need to be when I'm journaling, right, I may need a specific prompt. And so, yeah, I free write, I free journal because, yeah, of all the thoughts that come in my mind, all the things that I have on my plate, I need to just be able to get it out. So journaling is a big piece. Prayer. Prayer and meditation, which meditation is the piece of listening. That's what I call it. I don't know what other people say when they say meditation, but for me, prayer and meditation is very key. Helped me yesterday, helped me to get to a better mind space. So, not only just praying to God and thanking Him and praising Him, but then sitting still long enough to listen to what it is that He may want to say through you. And sometimes what happens is after I sit there, maybe He doesn't say anything. And then if I pull out my journal, He may then drop it there. So those are two things right now because I don't have a therapist. Oh, the other thing, definitely not isolating. Having people with like-minded people who you can share your thoughts with and not, I put up a post about emotional dumping versus healthy dumping, right? Not using them as your therapist because it's not fair to use a person as your therapist. Get your therapist, right? Invest in yourself. But having somebody who you can share healthy thoughts with, and they may not even be healthy, right? They may be some things you're feeling, but you're not dumping your problems on them and expecting them to solve them or expecting them to take on that. It takes a lot. You got to have a capacity to be able to take on somebody else's stuff along with yours, right? That's why therapists are trained, counselors are trained to take on somebody else's stuff along with theirs. And people think that is easy. No, you got to have capacity for that. You got to know storage, right? Storage says, let me store this and then be able to take in what they're giving me. And then I can go back and process my own stuff, right? It's just a whole process being a therapist or counselor. So, yeah, having good, healthy relationships, people who can understand you, who you can really just be yourself with and be able to have this type of conversation, whatever conversation you may need, but not using them as a dumping ground, or using them as your therapist. That is not fair. Get your own therapist or find your own other techniques to be able to process your stuff. So, having healthy people, what other things can you use to mind your mind? Um, um, just being quiet and processing, looking at what's going on in your life. Um, just really paying attention, being intentional with yourself, going inside yourself and being honest with yourself. Okay, I'm not feeling the best. Like yesterday. Ah, yeah, great one. Like yesterday. Just really knowing that yesterday was extremely hard and knowing that this is a time where I need to be quiet, but not necessarily equate that with isolation. So, one thing I did yesterday was my friend and her husband went live, and so I got on their live. That helped me to not feel isolated. And so, engaging with other people, like-minded people, or people who can pour into you. That's another thing, like a pourer, a therapist, a counselor, pour all the time into other people. So making sure you have those who can pour into you. Um, yes, exercise. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's major key, right? I'm not missing my exercise because exercise helps me to clear my mind and it helps me to build muscle at the same time. So definitely exercise. So that's been 5 things that I have given you so far. Um, it's twofold. It keeps you physically fit and mentally fit. Absolutely. And if you are experiencing any mental transformation or just feeling a little off, as I said, like, yeah, I'm off. I've been off for like 3 weeks. And this is just keeping me on the path, right? I still have to go through life. I still have to do what I've been called to do. And so making sure exercise is one of the major keys that I do. It makes me feel so much better. When I finish that, I feel like I can accomplish everything. I feel like what the word says when it says be strong, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm physically strong, but I'm also mentally strong. And then getting in the word, then you're spiritually strong. So they're all working together. All right. So those were 5 things that you can do. Oh, 6. Let's give you a bonus. Getting you a therapist, right? Getting you someone who can really help you to see yourself and help you to get through this trying time. Um, and sometimes a therapist is just there to help you to answer certain questions and help you to be able to then process those questions that will help you to get through the situation that you are in. Okay. So, yeah, that was 5 and a bonus. I always like to give you a bonus, right? So, seeing a therapist, very key. And it's not just for somebody, it's not just when you're going through. A therapist is there to help you just grow, right? Just grow in life, and it doesn't have to be where you're in a space, a negative space. It's just good to have somebody who can see blind spots that you may not see. And that's what a good therapist can do. All right. These are so good. They keep your mind occupied while you are waiting on God. Child, please. Yes. Yes. Occupied with good things that benefit you, right? All of them benefit you if we think about it. Exercise. How does exercise benefit you? As Shiante said, it benefits your mind, but it also benefits you physically. Journaling. Journaling, great distractions. Right. So distractions seem like they're not good, but distractions can be good, right? Because sometimes we need those distractions um to get us through to the other side, to where we're going. So journaling helps you to get it out. Making storage for other spaces helps you not to overthink because I put it down in my journal and then I can come back and process it, or I can process it in the moment. Prayer and meditation helps you to just really rely on God, builds your strength, builds your faith, builds your courage, builds all those things inside of you as you are transforming. What else did I say? Um, what were the other two? Um, oh, just minding your mind, right? Just paying attention to yourself, being present focus. Present focus is the best space you can be in, right? Um, if you are living in the past, or you notice in your mind the past keeps coming up, that is a sign of depression. Depression is past focus. Anxiety is future focused, and the best place to be is present focused. It's the only thing that we have control over, the here and the now. And now that I've said the now is gone, right? And so in this moment, take care of you in the moment. And so that's minding the mind. Oh, and having good people in your life, right? People who you can not emotionally dump, but just be able to share what you may be going through and be able to process a little bit with them. Um, and just getting it out. Oh, another bonus. So I'm giving you two bonus, not isolating, right? So then we got 5 and 2 bonuses because I like odd numbers, not even. Not isolating yourself. There's a time and a space for you to be by yourself to process, but then being isolated for too long can take you into depression. And so just making sure that you're not isolating yourself, keeping yourself from other people, because what that does is it gives space for negativity, negative thought, negative self talk. We need human connection. If you think about it, that's why it's so difficult for people who are in jail or in prison who have to be isolated. That human interaction and connection is so key. So try the best that you can to have some interaction with someone healthy when you're in a space of, like I am, transformation, or you're in a space of not knowing exactly what to do. Just sometimes having that healthy human connection, maybe it's a laugh, right? It just boosts you. It helps the endorphins inside of you to be boosted, right? um a whole lot of things else. I just heard some other bonuses that there could be, right? Getting out in nature. I heard my friend's husband say yesterday about getting in nature, how close that is to God, right? And so unfortunately in Chicago it's like really cold, and so you may not want to step out in nature, but being out in nature, spending time in nature helps you to mind your mind, helps you to physically be in a better mental space as well. Whew, that was a whole lot. Here's another one. This just came to me. Being able to get it out, right? Sharing with others what you may be going through. It helps, right? This live has actually helped me as I am helping you, I hope, you know? So that was today's Tony Talks Mental Health Mondays. You can catch me every Monday. If you haven't, take the time to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you can get more mind altering messages. Mind altering messages, MAM, mind altering messages on Mondays, and then all throughout the week. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays will be something posted for Tony Talks. All right, so share this out. Um, Many people are going through things, and many people find it hard to initially seek therapy, maybe. But I'm giving you free, free, free tips and pointers that you can use in the process of minding your mind and working on getting your mind right. Okay, so if you don't have a therapist, this is a good space to come every Monday, because it's going to provide you with more information and knowledge and wisdom to be able to help your mind grow. All right. So I will see you back on Wednesday. Wednesday, we come on, it is Pour It Out, where we have our drink of choice, whatever it is. It could be water, it could be cranberry juice, it could be an actual cocktail. Doesn't matter. We want you to join us on Pour It Out. Pour It Out, where we talk about all things. We're candid, very candid, have candid conversation. It's two girlfriends, Shiante Bailey, and myself, and we just talk about whatever topic comes up, right? We're here to normalize friendship, that friendship is healthy, and that Black women can have friendship, okay? Right? Like you see a lot of people who say no new friends, all that stuff. Don't buy into that. It's possible, right? It takes work, it takes intentionality, and it takes for, you know, you all to just really spend that quality time, but it's possible. All right, so come back on Wednesday. I believe it'll be 5:30 on Wednesday. Maybe a little, may change it a little bit. So, but in between 5-ish CST, in between 5-ish and 6-ish, okay? Yeah. So, thank y'all for coming on. Catch the replay. And if you catch the replay, let me know. It's a replay, and I will make sure I answer any questions or comments that you have. And if you are looking for a therapist, excuse me, I was just talking to my friend about the type of therapist I am. I don't sugarcoat, I don't do none of that, right? I'm going to be very transparent with you. There are going to be times when you don't like me. I remember hearing Iyanla say that, and I'm going to give it to you straight up. No chaser. Mm-mm. No. And you're going to do the work or not, right? And if you're looking for that type of therapist, that's just how I do therapy. If you want somebody to pamper you, I ain't doing it. Um, I'm licensed in Illinois, Indiana, and Florida, and I take several insurances. You can feel free to look in my bio, and you can go to my website and you can schedule an appointment. It's the beginning of the year. It's a good time for a checkup. It's a good time to start really working on a new mindset, right? That whole thing is just, it can take a lot to come up with a new mindset, to really work through to get to a new mindset, but it is possible working on yourself, right? And so I feel like I'm such an amazing therapist that I will help you to grow to where you want to be. All right. Anyway, I'll see you all soon. Love you all. Thank you for coming on. Peace.